Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and a warm welcome to the Success Chops with Coach Mungate Talk Show. And today on the show, we are very much humbled and honored to be having such an amazing woman. She's a businesswoman, a pastor, a mother, and a grandmother. So recently on the show, if you were following the show, we hosted Mr. Eunice Nyamuda, who is the founder of Compulink System. So today we would like to hear more from the wife, how she played a role in also making sure that this business, and we'd like to also hear her side of the story of how they made sure they built this amazing business that is in existence for 30 years now. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome in the show Pastor Eunice Nyamuda. Pastor Eunice, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Amazing. Please do tell us, maybe before we talk about Compulink, before we talk about anything else, please just to tell us about yourself first. Like, who is Eunice Nyamuda and just your background a little bit.
Okay, thank you. I come from a very humble background. I was born into a family of three, me and my grandmother and my grandfather. My mom had me when she was a teenager, still going to school at 18, but she was so responsible and continued to learn and to grow to be a mighty woman. So I was raised by my grandmother, and she was a woman of faith, and my grandfather was not well. We had been attacked, so my grandmother was looking after me and my grandfather. So prayer was the key thing, and we just relied on God from the very onset. Yeah.
Wow. So tell us about how you managed to meet Pastor Mr. Edward Nyamuda. How did you guys meet?
Wow. It is very good. All right. Okay. After I finished, when I was doing my A's, which I didn't finish because I got a scholarship to go to the UK with the British Council. So I went to the UK in Manchester, and then now Pastor Edward had moved to Manchester also to do his master's program. He was coming from Cambridge to do his master's program. So that was 1979 when we were transitioning from Zimbabwe Rhodesia to Zimbabwe. So there was a call that Robert Mugabe was coming to Manchester to address the Zimbabweans. So all Zimbabweans went, all roads were leading to that place. So we were there wanting to meet Robert Mugabe. He didn't come because he was busy, consumed with the Lancaster talks. So he sent Edison Jobo to come. So we're there. And after the meeting, there was a call for us to raise funds for this patriotic movement. So we then the leaders, you always have leaders emerging, came to say that we must have a sponsored walk so that we will fund this upcoming party. So we then went for the walk. We'd seen each other there, but after when we went for the sponsored walk, then that's when we met. He was a very kind brother who was helping us as we were lagging behind with our friends. The walk was very long. I think, was it from Bolton to Salford University, something like that. I can't remember the details. But then he kindly offered us a lift back to our residence, but he was already kind as a brother, just befriending all the three of us, my friends. Yeah, that's when I first met him.
And then from then, up until I know you got married, and please now tell us, of course, how did this journey of Compulink actually begin?
Oh, okay, all right. Just from there, afterwards, being a brother and all that, I thought I had found a brother whom I never had. Then he proposed there and then that he wanted me to be my wife. We married 2 years later. But from there, we started working together, even in our homework and all that. Yeah. So we then got married 82 in Zimbabwe. We were blessed with 5 children. He was then working for an IT company in Zimbabwe. So in 1991, he wanted to change jobs. Then, you said when Compulink was started. So, he wanted to change. He was very successful in his work. He was doing very well. So, he got an offer with another IT company. Somehow there was a frustration, and he was sensing a gap that you could do more and get more from the gap that he was seeing in the IT. So I said, if you accepted the offer, I said, no, we'll discuss. Then he says, we are going to, I think I'm going to go and start our company. Compulink actually registered it in 1990.
No.
And I and his brother were the directors, because for him to be a director at that time, it was conflict of interest. So he then said
he was working
for another conflict of interest. So being an honest man, he didn't want to do that. But when he wanted to now start a company, he did the noble thing, not to accept that offer and not to work for the organization as well. So he actually resigned, and that's when Compulink went on its wheels.
All right. So I think one key thing, you started the business together, and then please tell us your role when you started the business as the wife.
My role was a supporting role, because as I told you, we were blessed with 5 children. They were all going to school, though. They all needed to be looked after. So there was that responsibility. I was in full-time work at that time. So he had a company car. So he just bought a car just like that, a second-hand car. We're used to nice cars. So it was a downgrade on our part. But in my work, I had got a new car, because a company-assisted vehicle, because I was qualifying for loans to get a car. So that became the car of the company. But so we agreed that he was doing that. So my role was to really support. So I gave up my car and sold into the company. And our dishes, our crockery, everything was coming from home to finish the office.
And then from then up until now, how has the journey evolved so far? Are you still part of the business?
Yes, I'm still part of the business. From when it started, it grew in leaps and bounds, because at that time there was training happening and all that. So in 5 years later, I then was asked to come and help. So with the invitation to say come and help, then I came to continue to do the supporting role. I was doing accounts and HR as well. So we were there, just soldiering it on, in the good times and in the bad times. We were there together. So we saw the victories, the defeat, but we were, even when we fell, we would rise up again. Yeah.
Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have part of the story of how she played a role in building Compulink. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take a short break, and then after this break, we will dive deeper to get to know more about Pastor Eunice and her involvement in Compulink systems.
Success is just an attitude if you believe you can or you cannot. Either way, you are right. Those are the words of Henry Ford. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Success Talks with Coach T Mungate, and this is your Success Tips with Coach T. And today I'd just like to talk to you about the power of attitude. Your life right now is as a result of how you're seeing it, and that's basically attitude. What do you believe about yourself? Your attitude matters. The way you perceive life matters. I want you to think of the lion. It's not the biggest animal. No, it's not. It's not your largest or tallest animal, but it's the king of the jungle. Have you ever asked yourself why it's the king of the jungle? I doubt. If you have, maybe you haven't gotten the answer. Let me give you the answer. It's because of its attitude. So what am I saying? Lessons to learn from the lion on attitude. Number 1 is be focused. Number 2, believe you can. No one can ever believe in you the way you can believe in yourself. As much as others believe in you, it's all about you believing in yourself at the end of the day. So what am I saying? What you believe about yourself is far much more important than what other people believe about you. So believe in yourself, believe you can do it, believe you are able, and you will actually succeed. Thank you very much for watching this video. This is your Success Tips with Coach Tendai Mungate. Please do subscribe to this channel to get more of these inspiring tips. Thank you very much.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Success Talks with Coach Tendai Mungate show. And today we are very much honored to be hosting Pastor Eunice Nyamuda, and we are just having a conversation about how the worship lead at Compulink Systems. So before the break, Pastor, you were sharing with us how the company started and the role that you played. One of the key things that I've seen in most businesses, and just being a young person as well, is that most spouses don't support their loved ones in building businesses or anything. What would be the thing that made you support Mr. Edward Nyamuda in building Compulink?
I think
Other than
open,
good to know why but mad.
no, open and honest communication, honor and respect played a key role. I was secure. Not that it didn't have its own challenges, but it was I was a genuine helper, and we discussed things and we saw progress. There was nothing hidden under that I would discover and say what is going on and on. Yeah. So I think the honesty and the open and communication and the unconditional love.
Yeah, of course. But I would want to know more because I've seen that doing business together as spouses is it's quite tricky. There are so many things involved because people tend to mix things from home, business. So how have you managed to do it as Pastor Eunice, to be able to separate those things, being a wife, being a spouse, and also being a person who you are a professional at work? How have you managed to navigate that?
Well, at home we are professional as well. We are who we are. So we just took our home into the office and it suited one well. So I don't think holding two lives would have done for me that. At home I've got a different life and in the office I've got a different life. So in the office I was still the mother of the staff coming and being the wife and the colleague as well. At home it was like that. Even in church we were serving in church like that as well. So it was not foreign for me to work with my husband because in church we were working together, at home we were working together. Yeah.
So what would be your advice to young, not specifically to young, but to just any couple in general that are working together? How can they be successful and create that environment where it's like what you said, it's just you are free?
Yes, I think it's a shared vision where you both agree that this is our vision and the values that you want to hold, and that they are communicated, and that's what we are going to live by. And that if someone is not doing what we have agreed, they will know by themselves that they are wrong, that they repent and all that. Yeah. So shared values, yes, and visions as well. Yeah.
And I think you mentioned the part of responsibility,
Yes.
which is something that I speak on as a coach with very much passion. That I think we need to be accountable to each other.
Yes.
When we are
Yes.
doing business.
Yes.
So that's very true. Moving on, Pastor. The business has transitioned from one generation to the other. What was your role in ensuring that the business transitioned from Pastor F to Simon?
Okay, just before we go there, when you were talking about being professional or at home, or when I didn't perform at one time, I was almost fired. So, yeah. So
what? Okay, maybe just to give us a brief story. What had happened for you to get fired? Because I'm thinking the viewers
would like to hear that, so performance is key. So I had made an error with a big client by charging them VAT, which is the normal thing in the all that. And it happened, and he got so annoyed that I should do better, as the number one employee, I suppose. So yeah, it didn't go on well. Yeah, so yeah.
So that's what they like. I know.
Yes, yes, yeah. So I said okay. I accepted that, and yeah, but we made it up. Yeah. So why I'm sharing that is that you really need to work things out to the T. Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
God being our helper.
Amazing. So now moving on to the Simon transition. What transpired? What are the events that made you then say, I think it's time for the next generation to take over?
Okay, as I told you, we had our successes. And I think from in the up to the mid 2000s, 2005 to from there 2005 2006 we saw things declining because of what was happening in the economy. So we had reached our peak, and then we're going downhill, and coming up was now a challenge coming up, but we're still in the business, but there was really a struggle. But I think psychologists know that it's not easy for that transition coming from a mountaintop to go to another one. Yeah, you need more esteem. But so there was like fatigue and disappointments and all that, because we just found ourselves bankrupt with lots of money in the bank. What happened in the 2000s? So we had to start again at that age. So, and then at that time, our children were open to come into the business to work. So Simon was at home, and his other brother Munya were at home. So they found themselves hands on, and even the second one also was there. Gary came and also hands on, and they could see this is a hard ship to to navigate in. So but they really put their all in it. So we were working. And things were starting to come up, and my husband just sensed that with where we are going, technology is changing, you need to be learning all the time and all that. He says this is a time to think about succession, and we're both agreeing, seeing him as well. There was no doubt about that. So we spoke to Pastor Tom to say that this is what we want to do to transition and all that. So you can see there's prayer, there's seeking counsel and all that. So Pastor Tom told us that it's a good thing, but you also need to engage professionals. So I was telling you that you can't separate your lives. Yeah, you have to have one life. So we also bought into that because you need to be professional. So we approached Laurie Mack, the late Richard Makoni helped us so much to in the transition. So with so we did the profiles of our sons, and he helped us to tell us their strengths, what they could do, and all that they could do. And then we were transparent with them to say, you can do that and do that and do that. And so Simon started assuming the duties without even the title and the other. So it was just going on and like that until the baton was then passed on to them.
Wow, amazing. And then from that transition from Pastor Ed to Simon, the question that I have there is, and I think most viewers can take some lessons from there. What would be the lessons that you would say? Okay, what's the importance of handing over the baton to the next generation, or what's the importance of that from your own experience as Compulink and as Mr. Edward Nyamuda and Mrs. Eunice Nyamuda?
Well, it's also biblical that God is a God of generations. But it's not an easy journey because, control, everyone wants control. So it was also a learning thing for my husband to learn to let go and to really allow Simon to rise to that position. I also had to call him my boss as well and to submit
okay,
to
maybe
him.
before we talk about the lessons, how was that experience now that Simon is now actually is your child? You're used to telling him, do it, jump, do this, do that, and now he's the boss. How was that transition for you? Was it easy to accept?
For me, it was easy because being a wife, you submit and all that, and I could see that this thing is working. But like for my husband, it was like the control. He's got other ideas, and this is a new idea which he said welcome that is coming. But so letting go is not an easy thing. Yes, but because we had decided and we were believing that it's working, we worked it out, and then and eventually my husband then just said, okay, I'm out.
Come out.
Yes.
All right, and then I think that you were not talking about the lessons that the importance of handing over to the next generations.
Yes, I think the importance is for the importance of that it goes on and on. The business goes on and on, and what you have taught your children, believing that they will do better than you as well. And we can see that Compulink is growing by that decision as well. So there are many lessons to learn to say that we can grow our children and they become better and better, even better than us.
And from your own personal perspective, what would you say? Are you proud of the transition? Are you proud of the exploits that that Compulink has done so far after the transition?
I am so thankful to the Lord. I am so thankful to the Lord because I don't know where we would be if this had not happened. That God, it's a good thing that He guided us, and because I'm seeing growth, and the dream is even getting bigger and bigger. So I'm so thankful.
Wow, amazing. On the show, Pastor Eunice, we believe in books. We believe that for people to be successful, they have to read as well. And you look like for you to be even an employee in a business, I think it requires some personal development, personal growth. What would be some of the books that you would say have read and have developed into the woman that you are today?
Well, there are so many books, and it's good to read. The culture of reading is very good, and implementing what you've read. It's not only about reading, it's about also implementing what you've read, and so that you see the fruits. So the books that I would recommend, the first one is the Bible, because it's the only one that I am remembering, and with each principle from each book, I would come back to the Bible. There are many authors. So for books, I would say go for any book which you think you can learn from and implement. And but the Bible, it doesn't change, because with books, you have to buy into the book and all that. But if it doesn't work for you, you think you should change. No, it worked for that person. It was a seed in you which you need to develop. So I would go back to the Bible. So the book I would recommend everyone is to read and do what the Bible says.
All right. Amazing. Maybe before we close the show, maybe just a follow-up question. You mentioned that you've got kids, sons. I think by now they are now fathers. Maybe just tell us a little bit about your children. We've been talking about Simon. I think we'd like to know more about the other children.
All right. Okay. All right. My first one is Munya. He's happily married. Yes, he's got children, and he's doing very well. So even his stints in Compulink is also like a pass on to generation, because he's learnt a lot and he's doing well in his business, and they are happily married, which I give thanks to the Lord. The other one is also Gary. He also passed through Compulink, and so he was developed also through Compulink, and the Lord is leading him. He's a businessman dealing with properties, but he did banking and finance. So he's a seasoned businessman, happily married with children. So I'm a great happy grandmother. And then the other son, he also that one he was too busy. We just said a few days at Compulink. That's Tendai. But he's also just him seeing Compulink growing, and just even the few weeks that he was there, and he learned quite a lot. So it's also a baton which was passed on in that. There was a learning culture. He's also got children, happily married, so I thank the Lord. And we do have a daughter who is who also part of Compulink, and she's doing well. She's still studying, so we thank God for her.
Yes. Thank you very much, Pastor Eunice. And your last words of motivation for our viewers watching the Bumper Show today.
Yes, just to encourage that God has got good plans for each one. So we are all set up for success. Even when it's hard, there is a way, just to find out where the Lord has placed you. It doesn't come easy, but there's always help around. Like I shared that Pastor Tom helped us even in this transition, and Lori Mark also helped us, Brother Richard Makoni. So there is always help out there, and I think that's how God wants us to function as families.
Wow, amazing. Thank you very much for that lesson. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. This was Pastor Eunice Nyamuda on the show today, and she was just telling us a journey and the role that she played in ensuring that Compulink becomes Compulink today. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening was to add to the end of our show today. It's been amazing, and I hope you took some lessons from this. There are a lot of lessons to take from this. From me, Coach Tendai, the crew behind the scenes, our guest here. It's a help. Let's meet in the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel to get more of these inspiring episodes. Thank you.